Hi, my name is Keith Cooper at Northlight Images, and in this video I'm going to answer a question I'm asked an awful lot, and that is, which printer is best for me? Which is the best printer? Can you recommend a printer? Well, up front I'm going to say no, because I never ever make recommendations. I never say that the printer is the best. I don't give it some arbitrary score, and the reason for that is because the answer is always it depends. Now, that doesn't stop people asking me which printer is best. So just do this quick video to say why I don't say what's best. There are printers. I have a personal choice of which printer I might think might be best for a particular style of work I do. That in no way means it's relevant for you. I don't know how much it costs. There are so many unknowns that I can't make an honest choice and say to you, yes, this is the best printer. It doesn't have much meaning. Take as an example, let's think of cameras. Pick two cameras if you've got two cameras, and think about how camera review would look at them. As the traditional camera review looks at things such as build, handling, whatever that is. We don't define what handling is. Features, well, fair enough. Image quality, it's getting a bit more difficult to tell here now. The viewfinder, does it have one? How does it work? And value. What does that mean? Nobody ever defines these terms, so you can't really do it. Think about it, those for two cameras. Take two cameras you've got and try and come up with a way of rating them. You'll find it's actually quite difficult. And the more you do it, if they're quite similar cameras, it's relatively easy. An old version, new version of a camera. If they are different makes or completely different types of cameras, so a medium format camera versus a phone camera, for example, it becomes very difficult to put meaningless numbers. And the more precision you want to put those numbers, the more you should hopefully realise how utterly meaningless it is. It simply is useless. Now, I could do the same for printers. I could go about the build quality, I could go down. Now, these are all things I do mention in the reviews, but I've got no particular scale of reference to go to. So I can't compare a printer I reviewed in 2013, long before I started making videos, so they do go back quite a long way on the Northlight Images website. I could look at that printer and I could go, yes, it's got this, it takes this. Things like printer size are easy ones to know about. Yeah, it's a 13-inch printer, it's an A4 printer, it's a 17-inch printer, it's a large format printer. They're easy ones to decide on. Then we go inks. What sorts of inks are there? Well, you need to go into details of what sorts of prints you're making, what sorts of prints you want to do, to decide whether one sort of ink makes a difference for you. So I have got a comparison video about dye or pigment ink choices. Now that's a valid concern, and that's sort of things that you can look at and decide what you need. Now obviously if you've only got a limited space to fit your printer, then size matters a lot to you. If I'm putting a printer on this table, as long as it fits on the table, it doesn't really matter what size it is or how heavy it is. All of these things matter to you, and they're what matters for your print. So look at reviews, think about which features are important to you. One other thing about features, this applies to cameras, applies to printers. An awful lot of features you see in various aspects of marketing for printers and details of the specifications are there for marketing purposes. They serve no real useful function other than to increase the number of features that you can claim your product has. How do I know this? Because people in the industry have told me that's what they do. I'm not going to say who they were because I know it's done all over the place, but always take with a pinch of salt when you see a new feature being trumpeted. You are seeing a new marketing feature. Now, that doesn't mean it isn't of relevance to you, but you shouldn't automatically assume it. So, for example, with printers, when you see printer X has a resolution of so many thousand dots per inch, oh, that's more than the so many thousand that another printer has got, the first printer must be better. No, means nothing. In general, I tend not to use the very highest settings for printers in terms of quality. It does make a difference sometimes and you need to experiment, but in general, the normal good quality setting of printers works and you can't tell much of a difference. Now, these are my medium distance glasses because I've got some reminders written here and I can't focus very closely without the aid of glasses, but yeah, if I'm looking at prints, even with my strong reading glasses on, if I look at a print, it's very difficult for me to tell whether one print is better or another. Look again at the features, look which mean something to you. Look at examples. I always do lots of example prints on different media to see what might be useful. The other thing to ask is when people ask me, Keith, which is the best printer? Who are they really asking? What is the answer they want? Quite often I can tell from the language being used that actually you've already made your mind up what sort of printer you want. You're not entirely certain, but if I said, yes, this is a great printer, buy that, that would just tip the balance for you and you'd feel a bit better about it. Well, no, I'm not going to make that decision for you. You have to make that decision for yourself and you have to own it. You decide how much money you want to spend, you decide how much you want to print, what sorts of things you want to print. Now, what sorts of things you want to print does make a difference. So I like black and white prints. So that means I'm far more inclined to pick a pigment ink printer because pigment ink printers in general produce better black and white results. Doesn't mean black and white can't be done on dye-based printers. It's just I find the results just a bit more pleasing for myself on pigment ink based printers. So there you have it, things to have a look through. Things to remember as well, when anybody tells you a best printer, who are they pleasing for this? Do they have advertisers? I have no advertisers. I have adverts on the Northlight Images website and there will be some adverts on these videos. I have no connection with any of the people involved. Where I have got a connection, there are only one or two areas where I do work with specific companies. I mention that. But with printers, I do testing for Epson and for Canon. I've done testing under NDA of products which haven't even been released. Now, they're happy for me to do testing, knowing full well that I work with the other one. That to me is very important, and that to me says I've not got an axe to grind one way or the other. If you were to give me a good Canon printer, a good Epson printer, and paper and profiles, I could produce excellent pictures on either of them. Now, that doesn't mean in some areas I don't have minor preferences, but they're personal preferences. Now, I'll always answer if you email me directly with specific questions about a printer, I'll always happily answer them. But I won't tell you that this is best, because it's not my job for that. My job is to help you make the choice yourself. One last thing to finish on, I never mention prices because I've no idea how much printers cost in different parts of the world or how much ink costs in different parts of the world. I get a steady stream of people from the US asking me, have I looked at XXX paper? No, because it's not available. I'm in the UK. That means that the papers I test are ones available in the UK. Unfortunately, they may not be available where you are, but there will likely be something very similar. And I do often state that as to various things like that. So, just rounding up, no, sorry, I am never going to tell you or recommend a best printer because the answer is always, it depends. Well, hope that's of some interest and it helps, or perhaps helps you decide you don't want to watch my printer reviews and things. But if you do, please do subscribe to the channel. Seems to be doing quite well. I have to thank somebody at Canon for twisting my arm into making videos, because I personally don't like video very much, but there you go. But please do subscribe and enjoy some of my other videos. Thank you.